Fire away.
Coach Hughes, a couple days now before you head to Knoxville, how's practice been this week?
Practice has been very upbeat. The kids are excited about being out there because, coming off a bye week. So looking forward to the opportunity.
Farad's coming off a big game. How do you get them more involved consistently and have that back, stack those up back to back?
Well, what we tell them is play within the confines of the offense. Just do your job, whatever that is, run a route, blocking, for the run game, pass protecting. Tight ends have to do a lot of different jobs, and so we have to be ready at all time to do whatever job that the play call calls for.
What allowed him to have such a big game against Auburn?
Well, I think it's just work ethic and persistence, through the years. He's been here. He's a senior, fifth-year senior, and he's been in Coach Moorhead's system now for 2 years, so he understands a lot of the ins and outs. And from an experience standpoint, just keep grinding, just keep working, and the opportunity comes when they throw you the ball. You have to make the catch and have opportunity to make a play.
Between guys like Dante and Jacarius, how do you decide during the week or even during the game who gets what series, who gets what snap, what situation?
Well, we evaluate every week, and we go through, all of the different things in the game plan. So, it's kind of a thing where the players understand their roles and everybody has a role. Mm-hmm. So they look forward to playing their role once the game starts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Coach, you play enough ball games, you're going to have one like the Auburn game was. But as a coach, how do you kind of help the team flush that and kind of move on to the next thing?
Well, it's a long season, and we know the SEC is a tough conference. And if you coach long enough, you know that sometimes you're on both ends of that scale, and so you have to bounce back and you have to move on because we have a lot of games to play in front of us.
You spend a lot of time on the defensive side of the ball. What have you seen from Tennessee's defense?
Well, they play extremely hard. Their head coach is a defensive coach, defensive coordinator, and but they play extremely hard, especially their front seven, and they have some good defensive backs. So Tennessee is a school that has a lot of football tradition, a lot of pride. So going up there is going to be exciting for our kids, but also they're the home team, so they always will come out emotionally ready to play.
When a new guy like Jacarius has a play like he did the other day and doesn't come down with a touchdown like that, how do you approach it? We say you did everything right except the catch. Now, finish that off.
Yeah, young player. He's a freshman. Mm-hmm. First time he was on the road in that environment, and he's going to catch a lot of footballs in the future of Mississippi State. He's a great kid, a hard worker on the field, great student, comes from a great family, and for him, his upside and the sky's the limit. So, you want to build him up and keep him going. He came back later on and caught the pass out in the flat, made a nice run after that. So, he has to learn and move on.
Tennessee's got a couple of really athletic linebackers, and obviously your personnel group's going to match up some with them. What are your impressions of them?
Like I said, they're well coached. They have pride in their defense, and so. Their two linebackers are SEC linebackers, and so athletically, we have SEC tight ends, so, it's always a good matchup.
Probably oversimplifying things, but it seems like in college football, tight ends generally, as the season goes on, seem to pick up a little bit more of a role here and there, where early in the season maybe not so much. Is that a function of just working with the base offense first, then emerging, or teams take it for granted now you can use those guys?
I think that, as you said, as the season goes on, certain teams may play certain coverages and do certain things, and through repetition and watching film, things over and over and over, it's just something that I think it just happens naturally, as the season goes, that things start to come their way a little bit.
How would you evaluate how you guys, we know Farad's a great blocker, but how would the younger guys, how have they been blocking on the edge this year?
They've been doing a good job. I really think overall that we've blocked really well, that we have been involved in the run game particularly, and so I think that overall they've done a good job, and they're learning a lot of different things out there on the field and in game situations. So we just got to keep that process up and keep them getting better.
What's easier to teach for you? Is it easier to teach a good blocker to become a good pass catcher, or a good pass catcher to become a good blocker?
Well, if you look at our tight ends, all of them were at some point wide receivers in high school. And so, you take a guy like Farad, who was a high school receiver, or Dante, who was a high school receiver, or Spivey, who was a high school receiver, and now you put them in, they gain weight, their body changes, and now they become a different person physically. And then you just, what you do through repetition is you try to help them to develop, that mindset that, that I'm just not a pass receiver. I have to block, I have to pass protect, I have to catch the football, I have to protect the football when I catch it and running with the ball and different things like that. So having that open-mindedness to find a role on a team where they can play and contribute, I think is the most important thing.